So we're in the Golf GTI 2018 model, 230 PS. Now I'm going to see what it drives like. I'm going to tell you a few things that I like and dislike about the car. Now, the first thing is this infotainment system here, which is very nice. It looks very, very contemporary, and the clarity is very good. The only problem with it is when you come to touch it, it leaves dirty, smudgy finger marks all over it, which is really not great. And you clean it, and then within 30 seconds again, it's dirty again. However, the menu options are really quite good. You can go into the car menu here, and you can go into things like lap timers, and you can driving data, vehicle status. So in that respect, it's all really quite nice, and it looks really good, and it looks good quality as well. The only problem is like I say, the because it's black and it's glass, it makes a bit of a mess once you've touched it. But this is standard on the Golf GTI, is the 8-inch touchscreen. So and the sat nav is also standard on it as well. So that's quite a good feature that comes as standard as a Golf GTI now. Another thing that comes standard with the Golf GTI for 2018 is this digital dash, and it looks very nice. However, another down point to it is it's in no way configurable, which in that respect is, to me, a bit pointless really. It's now with the Audi A3s, they've got the similar digital dash, but you can configure it so you've got the sat nav showing up in there, where this is it basically. Yes, you can go through the trip computer and everything like that, and even though it looks nice, it just makes it redundant. I don't know why they just didn't keep the standard clocks if you couldn't configure it. To me, it's just something else that could potentially go wrong. However, the build quality on this car, you cannot deny that Volkswagen have got this build quality absolutely down. Now, the thing that stands out in this sector as far as Volkswagen goes is, even though I do believe other cars in this sector are actually catching up, the new Ford Focus, even things like the Hyundais and the Kias, you know, they're catching up. The biggest thing about the Volkswagen though is where all this is good, high quality touch plastics at the top of the dashboard, as they are in a lot of new cars now. A good thing about the Volkswagen is even when you go further down to bits that you can't see, it still keeps the quality really quite good. So where they could have actually cut costs, they haven't done, and that's probably why you pay a little bit extra for this car as what you would over the equivalent Ford or Vauxhall or Hyundai, that sort of thing. Now, I love this steering wheel. I think the steering wheel feels great and it looks amazing. However, one thing that's not great about it is the fact that there are 18 buttons on this steering wheel. 18 buttons. I mean, to me personally, that's about 14 too many. It looks good, but you've got to look down to see what you're pressing all the time, which for a start I don't think is, you know, it's very safe in that respect. And I can see why they've done it, because they want to keep the buttons away from the dash, keep the dash looking clean and new and contemporary and everything like that, which it does. But it just, to me, it just looks a mess, quite frankly. But the actual feel of the steering wheel and the shape of it, I think, is absolutely lovely. Now, this is the manual, and the manual actually, it's quite pleasant actually. It's got the usual golf ball gear knob on it, and it does feel quite pleasant, and quite a short throw for the gears. so it's quite pleasant in that respect. Tartan seats, hark back to the days of the original GTI, so it's really good that they've kept that. I think that's really good. However, one thing I'm not keen about is the engine noise on this car. Now, like a lot of new cars now, the engine noise is synthesized through the speakers. The problem is with this, I just don't think it sounds very good. I'd have rather just had the normal engine, put a decent exhaust on it, and just keep the normal engine so you can get the induction run. Now, one thing you can't complain about this car is the performance. Even though it's only 230 PS or 227 brake horsepower, it's got 258 pounds-feet of torque, and what that means is you've just got power pretty much everywhere in the range. If after driving this, somebody would have said to me that it only has 200 and what's this guy doing? That it's only got 227 horsepower. Quite frankly, I've been quite surprised. Volkswagen claim it'll do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and I would have said that is easily capable of that, if not a little bit quicker. And certainly some magazines that I've read have said it'll do it in about 6.2, and the 100 will come up in about 15.7, which is really, really very good, very quick for a car with this little power, so to speak. But again, that's probably down to the big torque figure. And the suspension feels really well sorted. I've got to say, yes, it's very firm, and on these British back roads, it does bump around a bit. However, it doesn't slam and bang over potholes. It actually feels quite comfortable and quite composed, and it certainly is a place that you could sit all day, every day in the car. Now, another thing that's really impressive about this car is I have a 60-mile commute to work each day, and I've taken this car a couple of times, and where my little Clio RS won't get above 33-34 miles per gallon, even taking it easily, with this GTI I've had an average of about 44 miles to the gallon. Now, that is taking it easily on a mixture of dual carriageway, back roads, average speed camera roads, that sort of thing. However, to get an average of 45 miles to the gallon in a car that will do 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds and a top speed of 155 miles an hour, I think that's quite fantastic. I really do. So, all in all, a really good car. And when you think you can get one of these cars brand new, the RRP is about £28,500, and it comes really well spec'd to standard, like I said, with the sat nav, with the parking sensors front and rear, heated seats, cruise control, all that sort of thing. And you could probably, if you went on somewhere like CarWow or somewhere like that, you'd probably get it considerably cheaper. And you can lease one of these things for about £250 a month. This has to be one of, if not the best car for under £30,000 you can buy, when you take into consideration the performance, the economy, the build quality, the technology that you get with it. All in all, very, very impressive.